Arizona gets maybe its best win of the season and in the process locks up something likely very important.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it Locked On Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. Locked On, your team every day. This show is brought to you today by FanDuel. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets if they put down $5 and that bet hits. Go to FanDuel. Check it out, FanDuel.com. All right, a massive, massive win for the University of Arizona, where you had a lot of stuff going against you that I think was very frustrating for a lot of fans. First and foremost, we're going to talk about how the game went out. Then we're going to talk about some of the officiating, bench play, what all of this means, etc., etc. But Arizona was clearly the better team than Kansas. I think it was difficult to watch this game and not think that. I think, though, the part where I think a lot of people were scratching their head, I'll put it to you like that, was what exactly was going on with the officiating. Because in the first half, Arizona played really, really good basketball. I don't think there's any way around it. Arizona played good ball. But the problem is that every single ticky-tack foul call was being made. Every single one. And Arizona's in the bonus then with what? 10 minutes left in the first half, or Kansas is in the bonus, and that just shouldn't have been the case. I mean, again, Kansas is a good basketball team. They aren't exactly what some of those some of the officiating made it out to be, and there was just really no rhyme or reason for a lot of the officiating, and I think that's what drove so many people up a wall. It made absolutely no sense. But either way, Arizona was able to get this victory, and they shot the ball really, really well. Not only did they shoot the ball really, really well, this is also a game where you got a lot of big-time performances from a lot of different players. And the first one that we're going to talk about here, because he's been beat up quite a bit, is Trey Townsend. Trey Townsend was great. There's really no other way to put it. Trey Townsend was fantastic. He is playing with energy now, and when he's playing with energy, this is a dude that, I think this is what a lot of people thought we were going to get. Not kind of, just kind of the moping around, playing slow. He was great. There was no way around it. And he was attacking the basket. He was finishing around the basket. He was getting rebounds. He was just doing a lot of different things that contribute to winning basketball games. And honestly, I don't think a lot of people thought that he had it in him. But after a while, I think you watch and you're like, okay, well, maybe he does have it in him. And I think he showed that he could. He's also done some really, really nice. He also did some really, really nice passes. He had some great plays across the board. And he just, like I said, he just looked good in the process doing everything that he was doing. If you get that kind of performance out of Trey Townsend, you're going to win a lot of games, because he gives you a little bit of a margin for error now that I don't think a lot of people were factoring in having. And I think, having him in that role, it was just good. I don't know that there's really any way around it. I think the other thing, too, that you watch this team and you're also kind of like, okay, what is that next step then? And that next step has to be Trey being a contributor, because, again, if Trey is a contributor, then Arizona, they can win a lot of games. If Trey's not a contributor, then they can still win a lot of games, but it's not nearly as easy. Then KJ Lewis again as well. KJ Lewis been beat up a little bit. KJ Lewis was great. He was attacking the basket, and when he was attacking the basket as well, he was able to get there and he was able to make plays happen. And I think that was the thing that was exciting about KJ, is that he is when he is playing his game, and we've talked about this a lot. When KJ is playing his game, KJ is a very good basketball player. It's when he tries to go off and be, Kobe Bryant, or, just some things that he can't necessarily do, where that becomes a little bit more of an issue. But he was absolutely great. He was attacking the basket. He was playing defense. Listen, he's always going to do a few things where you're kind of like, all right, what the heck was that? But his energy level is so good that you're just going to kind of deal with it. And, Tommy Lloyd has made that point many, many times, that you're just going to kind of deal with it, because he will do that. But those two guys, when they play really, really well, that is a totally different environment for the Wildcats, and it gives them a margin for error that you generally don't have. And honestly, again, this Arizona team is good, but they need their players to be playing well. And if they're not playing well, then there is a, again, you don't have that margin for error at that point. So that's something that I think as Wildcat fans, you got to be pretty excited about. And then Henri Veesaar again. Henri Veesaar, I mean, what more do we even say about Henri Veesaar at this point? He was dynamic. Your only concern with Henri is you don't want him getting so good that he goes off to the NBA after the year. But Henri was a monster. Henri was, and you could just tell some of the how Tommy Lloyd has utilized him, how Tommy Lloyd has gotten him better. And honestly, when you watch Henri, you're just kind of like, okay, man, he's just scratching the surface, but he's getting so much better game after game after game that it's kind of scary to think about exactly what he can be when all of that starts to click. He's making his threes. He's making, like I said, he's making his threes. He's just doing a lot of stuff that are contributing to winning basketball plays. And with Henri, the other thing you got to remember too is that Henri wasn't able to play. Henri didn't play last year. So, again, he's I get that it's, one of those things where you're kind of like, all right, well, Henri, how good can you really be? But Henri was really, really good. There's no other way around it. All three of those guys were massive, massive difference makers for the University of Arizona, though. And when I say massive difference makers, I'm saying big time, because they did exactly what Arizona needed them to do. And when you get a performance like that, you're going to be really, really good. All right, now, what does this mean then going forward for the Wildcats? But first, FanDuel, my friends. FanDuel. All right, check out FanDuel. The great thing about FanDuel is here, and there's a lot of really good stuff about FanDuel that I think that you need to know about here. And the first thing is that you can put down some money here. You've got the NBA going on. You can put down money. You can put down $5, and you can get $200 in bonus bets if that bet hits. The great thing about FanDuel as well is that your money is good. The NBA is here at this point. We all know that, and we all love the NBA. I love the NBA, and here's the deal. It's FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Right now, FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if the first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel. With FanDuel.com, official betting partner of the NBA. FanDuel. All right, and also now Nissan, my friends. Nissan, the Nissan Armada. Woo! Okay, here's the deal. The Armada Team of the Week is brought to you by our friends at Nissan and all the new 2025 Nissan Armada. Each week, our Locked On college basketball experts are picking one team that stands apart from the others. And again, we're going to go with Arizona in this one because Arizona just got a very, very nice win against Kansas, and Arizona played really well. There was a lot that was going against Arizona in this game, but just like Nissan, it stuck to the challenge. When it comes to the Nissan Armada, they say go forth and conquer, and that's exactly what the Wildcats did here. It's clear that our player of the week as well is out here, and we're going to go with Henri Veesaar. Henri Veesaar was awesome, and just like that, and Nissan, he was able to conquer the road ahead with confidence, just like you can in Nissan Armada or any of the outstanding Nissan vehicles. Take the Nissan Armada Rogue or Pathfinder and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about what this win means. This win means that Arizona has most likely locked up a 4 seed. I would be stunned if that wasn't the case, and I would very much, like I said, I would very much expect that to be the case. This team is in a good spot right now, and when you watch this Wildcat team, you can tell that they're also kind of, again, they're kind of vibing, and it, Henri Veesaar kind of makes everything happen. But another guy that we got to give a massive, massive shout out to is Caleb Love. Caleb Love was great, and he was assisting the ball, and not only was he assisting the ball, he was going basically, he was making just things happen, and he wasn't forcing up bad shots. He is just, like I said, he's a good basketball player. I don't understand why he gets some of the flack that he does, but overall, he is just a winning basketball player, and Arizona is lucky to have him. Jaden Bradley played really well as well. Now, Arizona's got another one on its Arizona's got another one on its hands here against Texas Tech. Texas Tech's good. And Texas Tech's good across the board. You look at a Darian Williams. You look at a JT Toppin. I mean, these are good basketball players, and this is going to be something where Arizona is going to have to be able to play its full game. Now, I think with Arizona, there's also something too that maybe this team is just kind of coming around at the right time. We're going to find out. We're going to find out because it's kind of been it's obviously been a very up and down season, but at the same time, this has been a team that you watch and you're kind of like, okay, game on, buddy. Let's get this one. Let's make this one happen. And I'm not sure that I don't see why Arizona can't make it happen. Now, if Arizona beats Texas Tech, then you probably go into that. That game against probably Houston, and you're saying, okay, well, can you get that 3 seed at that point? And I think that's a fair point. So we will find that one out. I also think that this is a squad where you're like, okay, what can that next level be that they reach? And what is that next level? And I think that's a question that a lot of people are asking, and certainly one that I'm curious about as well. But first, all right, we got a new one in here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a new one in here. Monarch Money. Okay, here's the deal. Ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go? I know I've been there. I wish, yes. And again, between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money also isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. That's a cool thing about it. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing your money and start building wealth. Exactly. That's the great part about it. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com and code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Again, this is pretty cool stuff right here. You can get insights. You can get all-in-one convenience as well. You don't have to worry about dealing with some guy that you don't know or who they are. Easy collaboration. It's again, Monarch Money. It's going to be taken over. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about what a win would mean. If Arizona can beat Texas Tech, then I think it's kind of all systems go at that point, because I think that you could easily make the case that Arizona's probably going to be a 3 or a 3 or at the very worst, a 4 seed. At the absolute worst, I think you're looking at a 4 seed. And honestly, I'm fine with that. If you're a 4 seed, you're going to have to play a good team eventually. You're probably going to get that 5 seed in that second round. Now, again, if you could move it up a little bit and have to play somebody that's maybe not quite as good, you'll take that one as well. But either way, that's something that I think as an Arizona fan, you would be more than okay with, is beating Tech. And then, you know what? You play Houston. It is what it is. You also get 5 days off. You get a turnover around there as well. So, and who knows, maybe you beat Houston. But either way, this was just a massive win for Arizona across the board. So many guys on this team played really, really well. And not only did they play well, they were happy doing it. And Kansas came back and looked like it's like, all right, here we go again. Kansas is about to win. They're going to get their home cooking. And guess what? They didn't get their home cooking. So a big tip of the cap to Tommy Lloyd and his crew, because this was a game that they could have easily lost. And had they lost, well, I think you're probably saying, okay, what is the deal now? Are you a 6 seed? Whatever the case may be. So that is that's something that was very, very good. Now, we're going to be back with you tomorrow, or we're going to be back with you tonight, though, on the post-game show as well. Again, Arizona, Texas Tech. I'm back in Arizona in this game. I think Arizona's going to win that game. On that note, though, appreciate you keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. Locked on your team every day. You've been listening to the post-game show.